order the first meeting for the Infrastructure Advisory Board meeting. The first thing we'll do is have our introductions, and then I'm gonna skip over the agenda, and we're gonna go to introductions, and then we'll have you nominate a chair and a vice chair. Roll call, sorry.
Mr. Barnett?
Here.
Mr. Grabsky?
Here.
Ms. Retzko?
Here.
Ms. Sharkey? Here. Mr. Walters?
Here.
Ms. Way?
Here.
Mr. Zeltman?
Here.
And Mr. Partington.
Yeah.
Introductions to my right.
So I'm Peter Partington. In another life, I was city engineer here for the city of Fort Lauderdale. I've been on the Infrastructure Advisory Board for about 6 years. My background is obviously engineering, and I'm really happy that the City Commission is taking infrastructure very seriously now.
My name is Ralph Zeltman. I'm a retired civil engineer and was hired back in March of 2017 when this infrastructure task force was developed, and it's been a joyride. I mean, it's been a pleasant ride ever since, trying to make sure that the city fixes their storm drains, sanitary sewers, and water mains, treatment plants, and et cetera, et cetera. We continue to try, and hopefully we can continue such and be more successful. Thank you.
Hi everybody, Lindsay Way. I've been on the board for a year now. Looking forward to continuing to help the area and the neighborhoods with everything that's going on. And I'm born and raised here. I'm on the Civic Association of Tarpon River. I'm a realtor. I try to stay well connected and looking forward to another year.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lisa Sharkey. I'm also retired. I just retired from the United States Coast Guard after 37 years of service. I did a lot of civil engineering, facilities engineering type work. My last job was actually at base Los Angeles, Long Beach, California. I was a commanding officer there, and I'm a resident. I have been a resident of South Florida since 1983. I wasn't born here. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. So I left the dry for the moist. Yeah, I've just recently returned. I have a home here in Poinsettia Heights that I'm completely remodeling right now. And so I don't have a printer, so I'm sorry. I don't have a home right now or an office or anything. So anyway, yeah, I just volunteered to be on the board. I guess I always like to see how the sauce is made. So that's my interest, and hopefully I can contribute.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Craig Barnett. I was on the infrastructure board for 2 years. I'm a retired telecommunications project director and also a mechanical engineer. It's been fun being on this advisory committee and now on this board. And I live in Victoria Park.
Shane Grabsky, civil engineer, and live in Coral Ridge. Been on the board since, I think I was appointed in 2019, but we missed a few meetings there. And so just try to kind of keep my mouth shut and listen to everything that's going on. And have input when I can.
Roosevelt Walters, I apologize to most of you because when my mom told me to go to engineer school, I went out and played basketball. So I missed those degrees. So I am not considered just to be a hell raiser around the city, for the city and the people of the city as best I can. And in my other life, one of my other lives, I was a transportation, I guess you can say expert and marketing and management. And so I been around, and I wasn't born here, but I've been here for 69 years, so I was almost born here. I would say this to all of you, I have learned something from all of you. I am not one that swears that I know everything, but I'm very pleased to know that with y'all sitting here, I pretty much know everybody who knows everything. And I had planned to leave, but the person that was replacing me sits on another board, so that ended that little bit. And I'm just happy to be back to do all that I can every time I can for everybody that I can.
Good afternoon, my name is Marta Retzko. I'm the engineering geologist. Actively working as assistant director for utilities in the city of Margate. Being on a task force, I think 3 years, probably 2 and a little bit. I remember when we met in the airport, FXC, exactly. So before, resident for the District 4, Commissioner Ben Sorensen, in River Oaks, lived for 8 years. Happy to bring some knowledge about the utilities here.
And so for the record, we have O'Neil Rodriguez, who is our Public Works Assistant Director, who is the liaison for this advisory board. And we also have Samila Williams and myself, Pauline Ricketts, who also support on the administrative side.
Thank you.
Okay.
You guys are stuck with me.
Vice versa. Work the other way.
So the discussion now is for you to discuss who will be your chair and your.
So I would like to say that I do not wish to, as I was chair of the preceding advisory committee, I do not wish to chair this board. So that said, I would like to nominate Marta as the chairperson for the first infrastructure advisory board.
I will second that.
Marta, are you okay with this?
I am okay with this, but is anybody volunteering? Anybody wants to be a chair?
That's not a process.
I know we have a motion on the table, but that's not the process.
That's not a process.
Okay, I accept the nomination.
Okay, now she can ask is there anybody else?
Is there anyone else? Alright, what about co-chair?
Okay.
To vote. Do we need to vote?
Do we need a
Yes.
motion or?
You wanna vote for that first? or
Do
you
we
wanna do
vote
it
for the
together?
motion? You vote
Yes,
for
we should
that?
vote for that first, I think.
Okay. You wanna call the roll?
Okay.
Mr. Burnett?
Are we voting?
It's
Voting on the motion.
This is
Yes.
for voting, okay.
Yes.
Mr. Grabsky?
Yes.
Ms. Retzko?
Yes.
Ms. Sharkey?
Yes.
Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Way?
Yes.
Mr. Zeltman?
Yes.
And Mr. Partington?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Congratulations, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Now we need to vote for a vice chair.
Speak at once.
We don't have another vice.
I'll nominate Peter. Vice
Second,
Chair.
second the nomination.
I accept that nomination, thank you.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Wait, you gotta close it by. Find out if anybody else, somebody might wanna.
Anyone else? Wanna-
There we go. Thank you.
Who's already the first one?
Mr. Burnett?
Yes.
Mr. Grabsky?
Yes.
Ms. Retzko?
Yes.
Ms. Sharkey?
Yes.
Mr. Walters?
Yes.
Ms. Way?
Yes.
Mr. Zeltman?
Yes.
And Mr. Partington?
Yes, thank you.
5-0.
Alright, Marta, the show is yours.
Okay.
We'll take your position.
You wanna sit next to me, Roosevelt? Let's see that. guess I have to carry the meeting now.
Martha, I do have a question.
Yes.
Are there other pending appointments to the board? Did somebody say Jerry's?
Yes, there is.
There is a,
Two
There are two more
each.
possible appointments.
there should be 10, correct?
So it's Jerry, okay.
Tolo?
Mayor's up for tomorrow for appointment and the first meeting as well as Marilyn.
Slide down one if you like.
So the total should be 10 and we have 8 present.
I believe it's 11.
11? Oh, correct,
So
because the
each
mayor
Two plus and then at large.
There's two and then
Yeah.
one majority.
at large. So. All right, well, next item for agenda would be approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Any comments, discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Agenda approved. So we missed the in the item number 2, new business. We already did the introductions. We did the discussion of chair and vice chair. The next item is discussion of board scope, future agenda items and meeting calendar. The scope, it's written on the bottom of this, of the agenda item. Like the scope that was submitted to the commissioners last month. Peter?
So, yes, this has to be read in conjunction with the ordinance that was passed that is attached to the agenda because as we discussed as an advisory group, it's the ordinance that guides or actually decides what we can discuss. It sets the scope, so the way I see it is we need to stay within the bounds of that ordinance that was passed. So as we start and get used to operating as a board, we may find ourselves referring back to that ordinance. So it would be good if everybody at some point reads the ordinance, and at least there's 2 sections on it that specify the scope of work.
Madam Chair, if I can add something?
Yes.
So as like Mr. Hortenson said, it is very clear, it is very black and white, the scope. However, there is a little bit of leeway should the city manager or even the city commission want this board to review any special projects that do not fall under any of these categories, they may do so. So if that happens, we may add that to the agenda, so to make sure that we discuss that. Also, something else that we added, we incorporated everything that was discussed as a task force here into the scope, and also we added bridges. That was something that I forgot to include here during our discussion, but we've been finding a lot of issues with the bridges, more so from the aesthetic standpoint, how to make sure that we can incorporate how they look with the neighborhood that they're being installed in. So that is something that I felt that it would be beneficial for this group to also discuss, not so much just from the engineering standpoint, but also from how it would look and it look within the neighborhood. So that's something else that was added to it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the scope is in the section 2-257 B, correct? So it's read in the ordinance.
It's in
The board,
257, and then also relevant is 259.
They're both consistent,
Yes.
so yeah, they have the same language.
Okay.
okay. Thank you. Well, first I wanna say congratulations specifically to our vice chair and previous chair of the task force, Peter. You did tremendous work and the members that they are not present here, that they've been with the task force for many years, as you guys know, there's Gerald and Madame Morano. She's been a chair for many years, so I would like to recognize the previous members that they work hard towards establishment of the board, and they did work through the years, and that was some goal on the table, and I'm happy that we accomplished this. And I'm happy to hear that they also both on a agenda for approval of potential members to be this board. So they have tremendous experience. Obviously, we have some excellent experience here with new addition of Lisa. Welcome, but you know, I think that would be nice if we can have those previous board advisory task force members also join this board. So, and that makes Roosevelt to stay longer with us, maybe. All right. So the scope is clear. Looks like we focus on the utilities, water, wastewater, infrastructure. Yes, Peter?
Before we move on, Chair, can we just briefly discuss under that, the item we are discussing, if you like, before we move on, the meeting calendar,
Yes, that's my next future agenda.
and future agenda items, yes. So as far as, let's take the simple one, I hope. The meeting calendar, I assume that we will keep the calendar the same as the advisory board met on, which is the first Monday of the month.
That's the good assumption. I'm gonna give the voice to the staff.
So staff recommends that we keep the same meeting date and time.
Day and time,
And for the time being placed as well, right?
Correct.
so 2:00 afternoon.
Yes.
That's the recommendation.
And
You guys accept?
do we need a vote on that?
Yes.
Do I have a motion for the,
I move that we make our meeting calendar the first Monday of the calendar month.
I second.
at 2:00?
Sorry, I'll amend and I'll restate it. I'll amend my motion. I move that we meet at 2 p.m. on Monday, the first Monday of each calendar month.
I have a question.
Yes, discussion, question?
Yes, sometimes holidays fall on a Monday, so what would be the protocol with that?
The meeting before we discuss the next meeting scheduled, and if it's a conflict, we either postpone or we meet on a Tuesday, another day. So usually at the end of the meeting, we have the next scheduled meeting date, like you see right now, we have a April 6th. So before we close the meeting, we know when is the next meeting. So if it's any conflict, then we just resolved on a monthly basis. Any other questions? Okay, staff?
You guys usually don't meet, well, ITF didn't previously meet for the month of July. Are we continuing that with the board? Or do you guys want to meet for the month of July? Usually commission takes a break.
I believe there is always discussion about the July and September, because there is a Labor Day and Independence Day. Do we need to have a calendar of the meetings for the year ahead, or?
Typically, they require, the clerk's office prefers that we have the meeting dates for the year.
Okay.
And so I would like to be able to provide that information to them after this meeting.
Okay. Okay.
So, does that have to be part of the motion, that we decide to omit 1 month in the year?
No, you don't have to. The meeting before, if you're gonna not have the meeting, you would just make a motion then to cancel to not have that meeting. supposed to make it public. The only other thing too with the schedule is if you all ever decide to do a workshop with commission, then those dates become available as they're available.
Okay. So, as per usual, so we can vote on the motion as it stands.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? Okay, so we do have a motion on the table to establish a schedule for the first Monday of each month at 2:00. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any oppose?
I'm opposed.
Why?
I just, Tuesday through Wednesday or Thursday. Sometimes you have to have, you have a long weekend. And I don't know if we have to be present during the meetings, physically present, but not that I don't, but I do, I don't know, sometimes, it's like Fridays. Friday's a day off and Mondays, sometimes they're travel days, So that would be the only reason, but
Well, the motion passed.
I did, but I just wanted.
But what has always happened is on the preceding month, when we're getting to, when there's a holiday weekend, we discuss whether we're going to be able to meet. And usually, if there's a holiday meeting preceding, the commission meets the first Tuesday of the month. So they will quite often push their meeting to Wednesday. So then we quite often say, we'll move our meeting to Tuesday. So in reality, what you're saying probably won't affect you that much in your ability to attend. And you're allowed to attend for the purpose of the attendance register, you're allowed to attend remotely as well, one meeting, for the purposes of keeping your attendance record current.
I changed my, yes, and thank you for the clarity. No, I just wanna make sure that I manage expectations.
Are we voting on no July and September?
That would be next.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion we do have a meetings first Monday of each month at 2:00, same place, I'm assuming for now. Anything about the schedule? Do we need to exclude the holidays right now?
I think we should.
The July?
I would recommend that the month before, that you discuss and vote that, because you may pick a date that's not, we don't have a room available, or, we don't know what commission's schedule is as far as them moving their calendar dates around.
Agree. But do you have already calendar for July? Because this is the big 250 years of celebration, America, so I'm assuming. Oh, you don't? Okay, good.
We don't know yet.
Okay, then we figure out that in June.
So, but we'll definitely know, when you have the meeting prior to, so that we can tell you what dates are available to move your meeting to.
Okay, excellent.
There's other board meetings and things.
The only meeting that does have a conflict is the September meeting, because I believe the first Monday of the month is Labor Day. So that's the only
It is.
Voting no
one
for
to
this.
be moved.
Yes. Okay, excellent. Then we take the votes for the month prior. So meetings calendar has been established, future agenda items, any discussion, comments on that? I will ask the staff first, O'Neill Rodriguez, since our liaison is O'Neill.
The reason why we put this particular item in the agenda is to see how you guys would like for the items to come in. For example, I went to a HOA meeting last month, going back to bridges, it's about 3 bridges that we're replacing. And that particular project I'm planning to bring in next month. So that will be an item that we might do a small presentation. There is another public meeting with FDOT representatives on March 12th. You guys are more than welcome to attend that meeting. But a lot of the feedback that we received in the prior meeting was about the aesthetics and where to install or where to relocate the existing water main that is currently underneath it. on if we should maintain it underneath or put it to the side. Residents obviously don't wanna see it up on the side of the bridge. So those are the kind of the feedback that we're getting, so I would like to get this board's opinion on that, so that way, you know, we're moving in the right direction. So that's one particular item that I'm doing. I just wanted to let you know that's how I envision doing things. If we have a particular project that we must get feedback, obviously we have all those projects that are very high level, are very sensitive, that everybody knows about, so those will definitely be discussed in this meeting. But any items that you guys would like to discuss, how you guys would do that, so that way we make sure that we have the proper staff here to have a good discussion.
Okay. Thank you. Ralph?
Thank you. Question for you, and I'm not, been in bridges, last century, but I won't go back that far, but, is the city's policy to put in like, pipe crossings, subacqueously, or are they going to be on the bridge themselves above the waterway? There's a big difference in the dollar.
Correct, it's not a one size fits all, it depends on different condition, you know, what we have in the ground, sometimes you may be able to do it, there's the budget constraint that we may have. So I wouldn't say there is a policy per se that we have. What I could say is that we try to, you know, get the most out of the money, so if that's something that we can live with, we try to go that route, if it's not, too bad.
Okay, I understand it, conditions of the area as well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors involved.
Other questions related to the agenda items? Peter?
So, as an example, when you bring us that bridge item, will it have been to the neighbourhood? So when the item comes in, you're gonna be able to tell us what the neighbourhood is saying, or are you anticipating that we discuss this in advance of the neighbourhood?
So in this particular case, we would have already gone to the neighborhood. Ideally, this would be something that would happen concurrently. On this particular project, we're already at 60% design plans, we're in a tight deadline. It's 3 separate bridges, they're lap agreements with FDOT. We have to complete our design by the end of the year. So there's very little that we can do in order to be able to continue to meet that deadline. I'm just doing everything I can to find like a happy medium that we all can, you know, live with. I know we went ahead from an all concrete bridge to soften a little bit more the aesthetics. So there's some steel elements in the bridge, and the community was happy about that. However, now there's other concerns that we have with the right-of-way line, how high it's gonna be, vessels, well, not vessels, but small boats or being able to go underneath the bridge and stuff like that we're discussing. So that's pretty much where we are. But ideally, I would like to bring between 60 and 30% plans, trying to get some feedback, very much conceptual, so that way, but then at the same time, we also have to go back to the community and we have to listen to what they have to say. So it might be discussing the projects twice, before and after we go to the community. But it's very fluid, and I accept recommendations.
Okay. Greg and then Roosevelt.
Do we wanna be specific about the 3 bridges that are under design, or do we also wanna talk about the bridge maintenance program in general?
We could do both. This particular 3 bridges, the design is at 60%, like I said. It's pretty much already ready to go into 90. So this particular bridges that you're gonna see are very much already what the city envisions and anticipates building. And the utilities is here.
Okay,
That we
I'm
don't-
sorry, I don't wanna talk about the
Okay, yeah,
bridges right now, let's
yeah.
stick agenda
Yeah,
item
how to
is.
put the items on the agenda.
How we gonna establish agenda for the future meetings? So Ognir said, as an example, he would bring the items that they are seek some feedback from the board that they are currently pending design, either 30% or 60%, but they wanna have a feedback from us. they either, Pete asked, they either gonna be before the feedback from the community or they about to go to the community. But we do have representation from each district here. Our job is as especially that board member who's from that district, maybe they can, they're more familiar than anybody, where is that bridge located, which neighborhood is gonna be impacted, maybe talk to the HOA. And our job would be probably in a meetup to maybe go and see ourselves or bring some recommendations. But I don't wanna talk about the bridges right now, but I think that's a good idea that there is some item that it's either bring by the residents directly or by the department that they seeking feedback, and then we're gonna discuss the bridges. How we're gonna relocate the pipes, are we gonna change the pipes, are we gonna do some aesthetics, so I like the fact that the agenda item is coming from the department itself, what I'm hearing, not necessarily only from us, that we asking for the monthly report, so we asking for the status of the permits, we asking for the status of the RFQ or RFPs. So I like that there is some urgent items that they seeking some feedback from the board. Any other comments regards how we working on the agenda? Roosevelt, next.
Yes, part of 259 says that we must take input from the public. And as he was talking about the bridges, it would seem that staff is doing that, but we are required to do that and report that to the commission. So when and where and how do we agenda that? Do we have people to come here to the meeting and give us input, or do we go to the community and ask for input?
Good question. I don't have an answer right now, but I think it depends from how difficult and challenging issue will be. And we always can schedule a workshop. We can probably ask staff for some coordination, maybe do some public meeting with the HOA, joint meeting. It's really pending how challenging item it's gonna be for us to discuss. Right now, if it's easy and we all agree and we kind of have some good representation here maybe from the public. I know it's a challenge to meet on a Monday, 2:00 afternoon for the working people. But I trust the staff that they would let us know if the feedback was obtained from the residents, and if it's not, there's always a survey, or we can set up a joint meeting with the HOA at that time. Any other questions about agenda items? Peter?
Really, this is at Greg's initiative. On the last agenda, we received a list of projects with updates on their status that I thought was good. But I'll just read out what was on the what's called the milestones and updates that we had certainly in January anyway. We had City Works, which is to do with progressing of this underground infrastructure and similar. We had the police department, that's the new police station. We had consent orders. We had sidewalk master plan update. We had stormwater improvements specific to Victoria Park. The seawall master plan, and we had the water treatment status, the water treatment plant, excuse me. So on that list, because I thought it was good to get that, the one that we're not really charged with looking into is the police department, the new police station. So Greg, is at your initiative this list was provided. What are your thoughts on this?
So, okay, so I agree with what you said. I think the police station is essentially complete. like our involvement or any interest in scope on that is complete, so I think that's off our list. We did discuss City Hall in these meetings in the past, I think that's not in scope anymore. City Works still is, water meter, new water meter deployments, I think
Yes, I
that's in
forgot that.
scope.
Yeah.
Holiday Park Garage, we discussed that briefly, that's not in scope anymore. And we have roads in scope now, and I don't know what that involves.
So, so the city received a special obligation bond for infrastructure that includes about $16 million for roadway and about $12 million on sidewalk repairs. So we're in the process of implementing that project. We are going to be providing an update to the city commission in the summer on where we are with the spending the funds, the neighborhoods that we have completed, and so on and so forth. So the reason why we added this one to the scope is for that very same reason, to make sure that, we discussed that. We have prioritized, there was an assessment completed, which we provided a rating to the roadways in our city and the sidewalks, and we're going first to those areas in the city that are in the worst condition. We do have a goal to spend at minimum of $2 million per district. So that it's our goal that we have set for ourselves, $2 million per district, but then we're gonna be working on those areas where they're in the worst conditions first. So that's where we are. If you guys would like to have a little bit more information on how we are with that program, we're more than happy to provide that a more substantial update in the next meeting and how we are approaching that. Also, we're looking to, because right now we only have one contractor for sidewalks and one contractor for roadway, for asphalt. So we're looking for creative ways, piggybacking on other contractors with other municipalities to see how we can bring in additional resources so that way we can implement this program faster. So those are the different things that we're working on.
Okay, correct.
We had one more item that's come up in a few meetings that we tabled, which is associated with seawalls and coming up with financing, so individuals, trying to identify a way individuals could help finance seawall improvements on private property. We've all discussed that it's important and that it's a big roadblock for the overall community to be able to improve our seawalls. I do think we should try to set up some sort of discussions of that. I think it's gonna be very important. Just because we don't know the answer doesn't mean we can't look for it. So there would be some sort of financing program for private individuals to assist them in raising their seawalls, in helping them have the money to raise their own seawalls.
And if I can, Madam Chair.
Go on.
The city, there was a presentation, I believe sometime in November or December of last year. I forget the exact name of the program that the city is establishing, but is some sort of a fee abatement program in which if the property owner wants to install a living seawall, then the fees would be either a portion of it or all of the permit fees would be waived. But that's the permit fee, it does not talk about the big number, which is the actual construction cost, so. But yeah, I think that's a good idea of continuing to come out. I know other municipalities have different type of programs that they've done.
To rebuild their seawalls when they have to reconstruct more than 50%, I believe they are required to rebuild the entire seawall to the new height, which is an onerous, in many cases, a very onerous requirement. But maybe in order to get all on the same page, we should hear what is actually in the code and required of people currently. So, in order to proceed with this important subject, maybe we hear from planning, I believe it would come under and what are the current requirements people to rebuild their seawalls that they're gonna come across if they redevelop or if their seawall is in very bad shape.
Before you answer, Roosevelt,
Most of you know that this is my baby. I have a gigantic problem with the city not taking the lead in finding ways to help those who are unable to help themselves when it comes to these seawalls. I don't have a seawall, so it's not bothering me. But there is a lot of people who are living on the coastal but can't afford to do anything but pay rent or pay the mortgage or whatever. And I have asked the city for the last 5 or 6 years to develop a program. I don't want them to give the money away, but make the money available for use in advance or total settlement for the work that's gotta be done at my house. And I was told by the mayor and several commissioners that's not gonna happen, and that's not acceptable. I'm just telling you. You know, y'all gonna have a problem with me. You know, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna be off my meds and
So I just wanna put it, I think it's a subject worthy of the agenda, that's all I'm bringing,
Yes.
I don't wanna make this meeting about that.
exactly, thank
But
you.
I think it's worth the agenda.
I think that would be a whole another meeting,
Or
and
multiple.
if we have nothing urgent to discuss, but I see, do you wanna bring somebody from the planning and zoning, maybe from the finance department, what Roosevelt is asking, a sort of incentive that would be a grant. It's hard to really, determine without the staff from the finance of the city. There has to be finance director, maybe that would be discussion that we can have a one meeting and kind of invite the director from the finance maybe and make sure that the ordinance we are familiar with, who is impacted actually, you know. Obviously you're talking about the lower income, what does that mean, you know, how much low income?
Madam Chair, when people are spending everything that's coming in now in order to make it, whether we talking paycheck to paycheck, retirement check to retirement check, if it takes all that I got coming in to take care of what I got now, anything you add on top of that in the seawall is a big add. And I just want them to do something, whether the same or very similar to what they did when they put the sewer in. They put it in, they paid for it, and they took it out. I would put it added to our water bill every month so we can pay them back as we went. The county did the same thing. I'm telling y'all, go ahead. Forget about me.
But that's
I
two
did
different
take-
funding, because like we discussed, sewer is an enterprise and septic to sewer conversions, they supported by the DEP and environmental grant programs. Most likely the city can get the program from the environmental protection grant and then disperse the money towards the septic to sewer conversion. I have not heard about the programs from environmental protection or maybe from FEMA, who knows, maybe FEMA would have the program for the raising up the seawalls, but the individual homeowners may be eligible to apply. You heard already from the commissioners that would not happen. I don't think I can override that vote, Roosevelt. So
Go ahead, forget me. This is
I think
this is not
seawalls,
good
it's
for me.
gonna be a discussion for later meetings,
Yes,
but
I
we're not
agree.
gonna
I
resolve.
agree.
Any other items, Lindsay,
Two that I mentioned last time, and I don't know,
for me?
that I wanted to add was any change in zoning requests. I wanted to see if there was something that we could look into on that and just give some feedback if it might affect the area.
That's a
not be on the
separate board
Not
for
just
planning
give
and
some
zoning.
feedback on that for the infrastructure, and then Fortify Fort Lauderdale updates on the trenches.
So I could answer on the second one, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So we're in the, I'm drafting an LTC, letter to the city commission where we're providing an update on the infrastructure for Fort Lauderdale. The last projects that we have under phase one are either in construction or about to begin construction. We're also pending the $330 million on the bond in order to initiate construction on those. And then about $100,000 of that $100 million of that will initiate the design of the phase two. But that's gonna be a very comprehensive update in that LTC that we'll be more than happy to share with the board once it goes out. And we'll be more than happy to perhaps provide quarterly updates or to the board on where we are with the different projects. That way we stay on, you guys are informed of where we are.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And if it comes to the first one, Lindsay, I believe there is a planning and zoning board responsible for the zoning in the city and the zoning changes. So they would, and you as a public member of the public, you can provide a feedback to that board. You just need to look up the schedule when they're meeting and what time and where, and check their.
I'm aware of that. That's not what, I don't think you understand, but that's okay.
I don't think we can oversee their responsibility.
That's not what I've been requesting. It's not the goal.
Speak to us.
Peter?
So, I think that the point you're making is that at the point that the zoning is changed, there is, or that there may be, an assumption that if the zoning is more intensive than currently, that the infrastructure that's already there can handle that, because once that zoning is in place, that assumption is implicit, that zoning is supposed to be supported by adequate infrastructure provided by the city. And I think the point you're making is, where is the mechanism whereby when zoning is changed, it's explicitly checked by the people responsible for infrastructure to make sure it's adequate? Is that, I think that's your point, right?
It was more so to kind of go in hand with or give kind of how we're asked to do reports or provide something. I know they don't need us per se, or we're not voting on zoning, but it was to give input because a lot of the zoning changes are from developers who want to change the area. So RAC CC is city center zoning, which definitely impacts the area, and our job is to give that. So that was all I was indicating, not trying to be on the planning and zoning board. It's kind of like
In
insulting.
the example we discussed.
No, and I didn't mean it that you have to be on a zoning board, but those impacts, if the developers, they do have an impact fee, and if they are required to change the infrastructure, they will change the infrastructure to meet, and they pay the impact fee to the city. So it's not, I'm not saying they're not impacting. Every developer, it's gonna impact. There's always, that's the name of the development, so, but they pay the city money for those impacts, and they're being calculated, and Shane, I see you shaking your head, but they do pay, and it's calculated based on the ERCs, how big is that impact, so it's more residential or more commercial units, more connections on the meters, on the sewer, that's calculated, and a city has a formula for that. So it's not like they're just building and they don't pay the city money for impacting the area. So there's a procedure in place.
In addition to paying the city as part of that whole approval process, and Roberto, if you wanna take over, you know much better than I do.
Well, from the other side too, the city does an analysis for every single development. So we monitor, for instance, the NAPOT on the existing sewer lift stations, so they can't exceed 10. So I'm sure Shane's seen these letters before, where you're not gonna get a CO until either the basin split or there's upgrades done to that pump station to handle the additional flow. from the water side, we look at things such as velocity not exceeding 8 feet per second, pressure not being lower than 35 psi. We do fire flow modeling, and that can't drop below 20 psi. And if it does, we figure out what pipes to upsize so that, and that'll be part of the condition on the letter. So that needs to be done prior to getting any CO. Every single development is looked at from the city from a modeling standpoint.
And even before it goes to the PCB, they have to have that
Yeah, the letter.
letter in hand, that shows what upgrades are required as part of that step forward and the increase in units. Is it a perfect system? No, but
Can
at
I
least
bring
they're
up
doing their portion.
an example, like when all we were discussing this, I was thinking of the discussions of the development replacing Galleria Mall and how large of a project that was. So you're saying all that type of analysis work has been done?
Oh, they have to come in first, so once they submit for site plan, part of it will be that analysis, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know if anything's been submitted yet.
They have a letter.
Oh, they already do have a letter? Yeah, and then of course, anytime there's a change, so you either have to get an amendment to your site plan, or if it's too big of a change, they make you do another site plan. Those also have to be reanalyzed as well.
And approved by them.
And they only have a
Okay,
one year,
thank you. You're
timeframe. So
Right,
if
then
it
they
lasts
expire.
longer than a year, they go back and double check again to make sure it's not impacting the system negatively.
Correct, because somebody in the meantime neighborhood
Right.
already approved.
There's a lot of projects queued up that they have
Correct,
to
it is.
analyze all at once.
All right, Peter,
Another quick subject for a future agenda, and that is as we go forward, the newer members are gonna find that, the old members as well, are gonna find that we're constantly bumping up against funding needs and what's available. There's a lot of our current and proposed future infrastructure work that is funded by bonds. So at some point, I would like some sort of a presentation that explains to us what bonds have been let related to infrastructure, where we stand in those, are they nearly complete or have we started them yet, etc. And what challenges we faced with funding future infrastructure either by bonds or some other mechanism, which is going to become an increasingly important subject now, because now we have the state looking at the whole basis of local government funding. So that, I expect that will be brought in as well. But we have funded a lot of infrastructure and are funding from bonds, and I don't feel entirely comfortable. I have a full understanding of where we stand with those bonds and whether we have any possibility of awarding further bonds or whether we're going to have to rely on the general fund or something like that. So Neil, I don't know if you can comment on that, what kind of presentation we would need on that.
So, when it comes to funding, it's always a challenge. And there's a lot of needs and very little funding available. Just going back to that statement about the infrastructure and then general fund, being able to kind of like chip in, I don't think that will be available, and I'm being very honest, just because right now our seawalls and our bridges are funded out of general bond money, general fund monies, and we're very limited as to the amount of money that we get every year to build our bridges. So one of the strategies that we're doing is where we're going to every possible grant opportunity that exists to try to find those additional funds and be able to meet our needs. So right now, when it comes to the underground water sewer storm, it's most likely gonna have to be bonds. Because there's a lot of the consent orders, we just finished going through our budget process internally within our department. Now we're gonna meet with our budget department and then meet up with our city manager. And it's always been a balancing of what is most critical right now at this point in time that needs to get done first, and why can't wait a year more in order to get financed. But yeah, that's a good discussion that we can have. We can tell you where we are with our funding and our geo bonds and the projects. Perhaps once the CIP is adopted, we could give you a high level overview of the different projects that we were able to fund for FY 27 and go from there. But yeah, has always been a challenge.
So, hold on, so, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do we have right now any bonds for water and wastewater?
If we don't, we're definitely getting one.
To my understanding, we don't have any right now. The
For
only bonds
water
that
and
we
wastewater.
have is for fortified Lauderdale that we're
So
about to
the
get.
one that it's approved and issued, it's 45,
About to be issued, yeah,
Getting there.
correct.
about to be issued. So it has not been
Sometime.
signed yet,
Not yet, sometime
Not-
in the summer.
do not close, okay. And you mentioned, I'm sorry,
Consent orders, excuse me, Chair. Consent
yes,
orders,
but that's
and
separate.
they, well, are you,
That's being discussions, if that's gonna be something that would potentially be a bond, but that's not, no decisions have been made
Okay.
as of yet of how to fund those.
Do we have any bonds? You mentioned roadways and sidewalks, $30
Yeah,
million bond.
that was a special infrastructure bond for that was done.
Okay, so that one has been issued, the monies
That
are,
one was issued and we have the money and we're expending the money.
okay. So with that, and if the board agree, I think when we have a closed bond, I would like to see, like we have on the agenda, water and sewer breaks monthly. So when we issue the bond, I would like to see the date when we issue the bond. This way we know we have a 3-year cycle to spend that money and list it of the projects, and you can just tell me design. Design 30%, design 40% every month, or 100% design, permitted, RFP. So I would like to see those 5 projects, whatever will be funded for this particular infrastructure, 30 million, so we don't miss that and we see the monthly updates, and it could be 6 months design pending, right? We know the design takes 6-8 months, even a year. So, but I would like to have that list, specifically the projects that they already funded. The Planet one, that's fine, you guys can always shuffle your projects, but the moment when you take the bond and the money, that's when the time starts clocked in and it's ticking. So I don't wanna us to miss the deadline for completion.
So just point of clarification for myself, with the special infrastructure bond that we have, it's citywide, so I could provide you the neighborhoods that we going into with the sidewalks and roadways.
Roads, okay.
Now, when it comes to the fortified Lauderdale bond, the stormwater bond that we're about to get sometime in summer, then yes, we can provide you the different neighborhoods that the funding would be allocated for construction, and then the projects that will go into design, and provide you a status update. That was what I mentioned, providing a quarterly update of where we are with the fortified Lauderdale implementation.
Okay, excellent, I appreciate it, thank you.
You have a backlog. You have a backlog.
on that, just quickly.
Okay, Peter, on that quick,
But O'Neill, I'm also interested in the big picture.
Yeah.
On bonding.
Yeah,
What have we
Yeah,
got
that
out,
would be a
what have we got
separate,
out there?
a separate
If-
conversation, yeah.
I've seen the finance department give presentations to the city commission on things like bonding capacity. So I have no idea where we are with that. Maybe that could just be wheeled out for us, such a presentation, if it's been done currently, you know.
Ralph?
Question regarding the bonding for the development involving, in other words, it's been rezoned from single family into high multifamily. Does the city kind of change their equation in a way when say a developer comes in
for bond.
and realizing they only have like 8 or 10-inch diameter water mains in that network system, but now they're requiring something maybe like 18 or a much larger size water main to meet the needs, especially the fire demand requirements usually dictates the size of the piping, but is that built into your equation for bonding and for money and the responsibility of each party?
If you're asking about bonding, I have,
No, I guess answer who's responsible. If the developer comes in and they need to upgrade, who's responsible for that?
the developer, but I don't think that's what he's asking. You wanna know
I
if when
don't-
they did the zoning change, if it was looked at in a bond, if,
So I
No,
guess I'm
zoning makes it change from a single family, in other words, from a low water amount requirement to a much larger when they change it to a higher density.
So I'm not trying to answer your question.
Okay.
I guess the short answer is no. When we look at the zoning, they're looking at the zoning. Now, when that particular developer comes into the city to apply for a permit, which is part of the conversation we were having before, then we do look at that from a very site specific. And then if we have to, let's say, like you mentioned, you have an 8-inch water main, and obviously that 8-inch water main may not be able to support a tall building. So there might be some upgrades to the infrastructure in the vicinity that we need to be made. That, at that point in time, that's when it's assessed who is responsible for that. Oftentimes, the developer may be the one to be responsible to upsizing that, or perhaps pay a fee for the city to do that. But that is at that point
That's
in
in
time.
the equation, is
that-
all,
Correct.
okay.
We look at that equation once we're reviewing the an actual development, proposed
So-
development.
broadly, the ERC calculations are on use, not zoning. So if you're a gym, it's different than if you're a restaurant, and it's different if you're a condo. It has nothing to do with the zoning requirements.
But I understand that. I was given an example that a low density zone typically has low water needs. Yes, you know, you could put in a plant there and it would change the water needs, but I just was concerned that the equation in bonding and everything should have some kind of something so the city doesn't have to bear everything. Developers are causing this increase in density and water consumption, that they should be.
So if we did the analysis and let's say we had to upsize a pipe from 6-inch to 10-inch for, I'm just gonna say 1,000 feet, right? So the way it works, they have a capital expansion fee, there's a water and a sewer one. There's a law that passed a few years ago, so if let's say the developer does the upgrade, developer's entitled to a refund up to the amount they paid in, but it might exceed that. But until those things are done, they won't get a CO, so that's a financial decision that the developer has to make. Am I willing to do this investment or so I can build this? But there's not gonna be a point where we would allow something if it does not meet any of the velocity standards or the pressure drop standards or our sewer standards.
Okay, I think, rather than a bit long explanation, it's built in the equation that this will be looked at as opposed to just say, oh yeah, well, here's another one, we'll just rubber stamp.
No, we're not rubber stamping.
Okay, well, I'm being cruel right now. Thank you.
Roosevelt?
A while back, we requested that when we get bond for a particular project, the total money for that project was tracked. And I think it was a quarterly report that staff gave to us that says, okay, right now, we have done 30% of the project. We'll use 30% or 40% of the bond money plus whatever money that's coming in to make the project finish on time. And they also gave us the amount in dollar wise what was left and whether what was left was capable of completing the project. Now, we got that for about a year and a half and then it went away. I don't know why.
Well, like I spoke to O'Neill already, we will have that monthly or quarterly updates for the bonded projects. The planet is a different category. The moment when the bond is approved and it's closed and the mayor signed, That's the time when they start ticking. So we will have this included in a package, like I said, together with the water and sewer breaks, so we can keep a track. So I agree with you, we just said the same.
I just wanna,
I'm not sure what happened in the past.
I don't either, but that's okay, I think we need it again. And the purpose, and we're not trying to see if anybody hide money under the table in any place, but we certainly wanna know, because we receive this amount of money from the bond, we can take something out of general fund and put somewhere else. That's what the school system does. And I don't want that happening to this particular city, financially. Let's not play with the money. Whatever we get it for, let's use it for that purpose. If there's any left at the end, then we can give it to someone.
Yes, and looks like I agree with you. Looks like we agree, we do have a one bond, it's 30 million for infrastructure, 16 for roadways, 12 for sidewalks. We will have a presentation next month. And that would start very small, simple format, just the table and the monthly upgrade, so we will have that track.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussion, comments on the agenda items? Hearing none? Okay, so my understanding is I will work on the agenda together with our liaison, closely with staff, Mr. Rodriguez. And hopefully we would get some interesting topics. I'm excited, thank you. That'll be a change. All right, so next agenda item, utilities services update. Water and sewer breaks report with mapping. Okay, the month of February. No sewer breaks, excellent. Congratulations to the city.
Yes.
Good job, good job. Not even sewer blockage, nothing, excellent. The size of the city, I'm very impressed. Good job. Couple of water breaks. Anything from the staff that we need to know? One big one, 18-inch, I see. Did we have to issue boil water notices?
Yes, so the 18-inch is actually a 24-inch PCCP, which is a pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe.
Oh, asbestos cement, you mean?
Not the best, is just concrete.
Pre-stressed? 24.
Where was that one?
First step.
Oakland Park Boulevard.
Oh, yeah.
So we did issue a boil water for that. It's currently, the repair is not complete. The contractor that mobilized for the repair is waiting for a line stop. That's expected to be delivered by tomorrow or end of business day Wednesday.
So the repair has not been completed, but do we have residents without the water?
No, everyone has water.
They just have to
It's
boil.
isolated.
Okay, it's
The
isolated.
break is in a state storm conflict structure, so it's a very complicated repair.
Okay, thank you. Peter?
I just got one, from the District Commissioner's Office, for a water main repair on Prospect Road. Now, that is pretty close to the new water plant. Does that have anything to do with that? Do you know, Jason?
No, so the leak on Prospect was related to the new water main installed by Mancini. It was a leak on the pipe, but that wasn't due to current infrastructure.
So the leak was in old infrastructure, not something that the contractor has installed related to the new water plant?
Yeah, so the leak at Prospect was something related to the new water main that the contractor installed. It had nothing to do with existing infrastructure.
Oh,
So they installed new pipe and it's already leaking.
yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Is that not cleared yet? Or
They fix it.
testing something? Did they get clearance on that pipe yet and it leaked? Or it was something during testing that it was leaking?
Probably something during testing. I don't think they had the clearance yet.
Right. So the pipe wasn't completed.
well, it's not even connected to anything.
Yeah, so it's not like the new pipe fails.
I'm really, if it's not connected to anything, why did it leak?
Yeah, that's my.
Well, it's testing, the pressure test.
Yeah, I mean, it has to hold like 150 PSI for 2 hours, so that's how you find.
Oh, so it was under test.
During
Correct.
testing, it sounded like, yeah.
No boil water.
Got it.
The one under Oakland Park Bridge, was that just age?
It's hard to say, so we never physically got to the break, when it was excavated. The 16-inch water main is directly under a 48-inch, outfall pipe for the state, so
So you didn't,
the top of pipe for the storm drain was probably like 3.5, 4 feet. So that puts the water main down a good 5, 6 feet, and you're right there at the intercoastal, so we never physically seen the
you
pipe.
did just offset it?
Correct.
Is that affecting pressure in that area?
When the initial break came in, before it was isolated, I think Bayview got down to around 23 PSI, but we avoided any areas going below 20 PSI, so there were no boil waters issued.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, do you know how many residents it's affected with that boil water, Jason?
For Oakland Park, it was 2 properties in the plaza. For Oakland Park or Sunrise,
For the Oakland,
just 2 properties.
2 properties? Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'm glad the valves were working,
Yeah.
the insulation valves.
Exercising.
Good job. Okay, any other questions, comments to the water breaks?
No, just to register again, that it's probably the first time that I remember having a report with 0 sewer breaks.
Yeah, I know, congratulations. Bravo,
So, you know, I mean, the city is to be commended as well.
Undetected.
not yet,
No, next week,
for the next month, but
next
that's an accomplishment, that's nice. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jason. Next agenda item, general discussion and comments. We start with the members and the general discussion. Peter?
As always, I have something. So we had the advisory committee meeting last month. And my question is, a question of staff probably, have minutes been generated by that? And if so, how do they get approved? Because they're not on our agenda now because we're a new body, so.
Vice Chair, the minutes were generated, from my understanding, it didn't require the approval of the task force because the task force sunset. So the minutes have already been posted on the previous site for ITF, they were not included in this.
So somebody can find that agenda and there will be minutes
They
associated
are
with it.
online, they are
Thank you.
posted online.
Perfect.
Okay. Ralph?
Yeah, I just wanted to address Public Works and everything. I've heard I guess the mayor and other city folks, I'll call them, have indicated that once that the new water treatment plant is operational and everything, and then goes through the old 5-ash pumps and everything, and the water is clear because the new filtering system has abated any of the iron that was in the well systems, the water, yellow coloring. And then they're stating that that everybody will be getting clear water without any coloring in it. And I have disagreed from years and years back, stating that yes, the water will be clear coming out of the new treatment plant, filtering plant. And once it gets into the main transmission and then ultimately gets out into distribution systems, that wherever there is a old, say, cast iron pipe that's rusting inside, the color is going to reappear at the, far end of that. So there will still be coloring in the water in certain locations where there exists old water mains that are rusting and ultimately have to be replaced because of their age and condition. Is there any way that you can kind of tell them or educate them that, you know, you're gonna have colored water as long as you still have these old water pipes in the system? Don't all answer at once, I just.
What, you want to go first, and I go?
Miguel?
Hey Ralph, the new water plant is also gonna be adding orthophosphate like they did in Bill Dixon 2008.
I'm half.
The new water plant we're starting a pilot to test orthophosphate, just like we did in Bill Dixie in 2008. The intent is the transition from a lime softening process to a combination of membrane and ion exchange. The orthophosphate is intended to act as a way of minimize the potential of what you're discussing. Now, back in 2008, there was a period of transition. I don't remember if it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm getting old. It's been almost 20 years since that happened. That there was some small events in certain localized areas because of the transition from a lime softening to a membrane facility, which, as some of you may know, is far more aggressive than a lime softening process. And that's why the orthophosphate is gonna be included. And the idea is to use the same orthophosphate as we're using in Bill Dixie so that we keep a continuity of chemicals between the two water plants. So.
But my concern is that, especially like overnight where there's low flows at night, and the older pipe and the water is in there, has a tendency to get more iron colored water. And then as soon as the morning starts, everybody's getting ready to go to work, taking a shower or whatever. And then that system is coming, flushing it out, and that color is going to be prevalent more so in the morning, early mornings on that. Now, let me say this, because the color was removed or is hopefully being removed from the new water filtering plant with everything, you know, that's a help. So it's gonna be reduced, but the colored water is still going to be prevalent in those areas downstream from these old communities that have old water mains or put in there like cast iron.
So what you're speaking of is pretty much iron enriched water or stagnated water.
That's
So
exactly right.
a couple of years ago, we implemented a unidirectional flushing program to kind of alleviate some of those concerns. And in areas for dead ends, like we install automatic flushes on the hydrant. And we have a fully functioning hydrant bag crew solely dedicated to water quality concerns, flushing, valve exercising, unidirectional flushing and things of that nature.
Well, that helps to maybe reduce some of the buildup, like I mentioned. It's still gonna be prevalent, and I think that care has to be done as far as just stating that our system is totally devoid of any iron-colored water affecting our customers in the sense, not only city, but the other cities that are in the system. So there is gonna be degrees of that where these the cast iron old pipes that's rusting inside are the villains here. And as soon as they're done, then it should be clear water, but I'm stating that there's a lot of people that are still seeing the colored water and will be seeing it because they're at the other end of these older pipe systems that hopefully ultimately be replaced.
Well, there is a outreach program right now with the Lead and Copper Initiative, so that's like a two-pronged question. The city can do everything in its power to replace the existing infrastructure on our side, but if the private side or the homeowner side still has iron or
Galvanized or others or PVC.
So, correct, so any water that sits in their pipe will still pull rest, so.
Yeah, that's part of it. I'm trying to stay away from some of these old systems that have, if they haven't, like the old galvanized had electrically messed up, got deteriorated because of the copper and the electric going back, but I'm taking that out of the part of that. But you're right, that would, if they do have these old pipes in there, you know, they will contribute to the coloring, or discoloring of the water. But I'm concerned that, you know, according to a lot of the folks in the city there, that's not gonna be a problem, and I'm saying, I wish it were true, but it's gonna be a problem.
You're just talking about messaging, right? You're talking about messaging, or how we communicate, transparency, how we communicate. So the city is taking care of their part, but there's parts of the infrastructure that belong to the individual.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking
That
about the
part
service.
is
The
good.
service line is, you know, a lot of those lines are probably already gone because of the age. Now, when they've stopped putting in cast iron and galvanize a long time ago. They're putting in, probably PVC is the biggest, you know, the best they can put in with the customer's lines. I'm talking about the line, the city's water mains, water transmission and distribution mains that are rusting away.
Miguel, don't they add a rust inhibitor?
Well, yes, this corrosion inhibitor added as well, and the expectation is that with the lime softening, we put a coating on the inside of the pipe. If you pull out some of the old pipes, you see the white layer that has been laid over decades of
You
use.
call it like concrete, the concrete lining, that's kind of different. These old cast irons don't really have too much of that lining in there. They're rusting, and in fact, their pipe is actually shrinking inside. The growth is coming in, and it's reducing the inside diameter, if you will.
Yes, we do have a corrosion inhibitor as well as anti-scalant, so the expectation is that the combination of the chemicals following the pilot study that is gonna be initiated this summer before the plan goes online. It's a 3-month study. We will have the answers with coupons and with all the data.
I think the city, if they could just, instead of saying, well, everybody's gonna have clean water and clear water, I think it would be best that the colored water is being diminished. And that just in certain areas will still have some because of the age of the existing pipe and material.
That might be a good subject for a future meeting.
Yeah, I'm just mentioning
Like,
this
you
right
know,
now.
like water colorization.
I hear a lot of people that's on the city that aren't technically involved, but they say, there's no more harm. I don't wanna waste any more time. I think if they can be, you know, it can be explained to them that the way I've described it, I think that's the best, so we don't get somebody saying they lied to us, yeah.
Well, I think the commissioners, they got the message from the consulting engineers that when
Right,
they
they
designed the plant, that the plant will remove the color, but you're right, there is always the distribution system that it's older and it's gonna bring the perfectly clean water through the older infrastructure, but like Miguel said, there is a corrosion inhibitors in a place, and anti-scalant, so they would not scale the color and the metals from the pipe. But I have a question to the staff. Do you see an increase or decrease or same status quo for the color complaints in the city? And which areas? I'm hearing the city is having problems, but I kind of wanna know exactly which one are the most problematic if it comes to the color. I mean, I live in a River Oaks, my color is perfectly fine, I'm drinking our water. Not only because I work in a
with the cities,
municipality and I drink water from the tap, but
yeah, with the cities,
is that
which
the pockets?
which they provided us, showing us some of the older systems in their distribution systems.
I believe that's the oldest one, and but I wanna know from the staff if you guys see an increase in the complaints or
We have not
decrease.
seen an increase in complaints, if that's a question in the
For
recent.
me?
We have not seen an increase in complaints as of this time. However, we'll see what happens when we start using the new plant. Like I said, there might be a transition period, 2 to 3 weeks, based on what happened in 2008. And, but that information can be provided to anyone who wants to see it, because we do track it.
Okay.
Are we still on track for September of this year cut in for the new plant?
That's still the plan.
So speaking about the plant, I wanna share with the board members, I'm gonna have opportunity to tour that plant next Monday. Not as a board member, as the South Florida Utility Council, I'm the past chair, and there would be a tour with contractor Kiewit and Hazen and Sawyer, I believe the engineers. So there would be 80 participants from South Florida Utility Council. The tour was sold out. I was the last one registering my colleagues, my co-workers. So there would be interesting to see, almost substantial completion. So I'm probably gonna give some feedback next meeting. I don't think any other board members will be with me, so I don't think I'm violating any laws. I do this tour as a subject of expert of my current employment, but I would be happy to see the prospect lake next Monday.
Don't forget your sunglasses.
I have to wear PPE, yes, you're gonna see me with the hard hat. All right, any other questions? I know the heads. Peter, did you had anything?
No, I was just gonna ask you, since you drink the water.
I do.
where you live, do you let the tap run before you drink it?
Not really. I think I don't think the city goes to sleep. Ralph is saying about that.
I feel like Ralph has a
Sounds
good
like
point.
the city goes to sleep at night. I don't think so with the spring break. I think
It's a
they're
rusty
running
case I
water.
have in the
First thing in the
They-
morning and you
They
fancy
bar
a
it
glass of water.
24/7 here.
First thing in the morning and you fancy a glass of water, you don't let it tap run for a while.
No, I've been drinking tap water all my life, wherever I go in the city, outside of the country, and I never had a problem like in the wood. But I don't see the color in my development, so I wanna know exactly which part of the city they problematic, and
Probably that the city's map showing all the water system and the older areas, especially with the ones that are cast iron material, well, those that are downstream will probably are seeing the color of water, right?
oh, I believe that, there's no question. And the oldest one are the closest one to the plant, because as the plant is built,
And I think Wilton Manors, they also were complaining about rusty water or something in there. I haven't seen it, but I've had people talk to me about it, and I said, well,
Well, the colour of the water has historically been a big issue in the city.
right.
I like, you heard from Miguel, maybe that some leftovers from the 2008, the transitioning between the treatment in the plant, so maybe people still remember those days, because I'm here since 2017, I have not seen the huge color issues. At least where I live and when I drink. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns?
I noticed the next date is on Easter Monday, I don't know if that changes anything.
Easter Monday?
It says Easter Monday.
I believe it's a work day, so I'm sorry for the happy Easter Monday. We do the egg hunting.
Okay. So is next month Bridges?
Next month, we work
Next month
with
will be a specific
about the
project, yeah.
bridges, and I would like to see that bond. I wanna know exactly when the day of issuance was and what's the projects are listed for roadway and sidewalks. And then we work down the list. Public comments. Hearing none. Anything from the staff? No?
No, we're good.
All right, well, thank you so very much. First meeting adjourned, and the next, do I need a motion to adjourn the meeting? No.
No, you can adjourn the meeting.
I can, thank you, I have a power to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. I'm feeling better already. Meeting adjourned, I see you April 6th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your visit.
I'm excited, actually.
Sure. Now we're gonna